DICE are finally making a key balance change to Battlefield 2042. The Xbox Series S is getting a massive performance improvement, the latest update for Apex Legends makes sweeping changes to literally everything, and much more on Today in Gaming. Hey guys, LevelCap here. Battlefield 2042 stealth helicopters are finally getting a nerf. They were added with the Season 1 launch and have dominated the skies ever since. The next game update version 2.0 should be launching later this month with a handful of changes to these helicopters. Their repair system is getting effectively reduced. This should bring its survivability more in line with other helicopters. DICE are also decreasing their armor, so AA or other weapons should do a little more damage per hit. However, we don't know if DICE are making changes to how stealth mode works on these vehicles or if their bomb pods are getting any type of tweak either. Pilots can stay in stealth mode pretty much indefinitely, preventing any AA weapons from locking on. A lot of players have suggested that stealth mode shouldn't have any weapons since pilots can zip around the map in stealth mode the entire time. The upcoming nerfs in the 2.0 patch should make the stealth helicopters more of glass cannons, but again, skilled pilots should be able to avoid a lot of that incoming damage. In other 2042 news, DICE have been working on a fix for the missing first match XP issue since it was introduced in last week's update. The fix should go live sometime this week. Unfortunately, what DICE will offer as compensation for the missing XP is unclear. They're looking into how much XP players have missed out on, but haven't really said if you'll get it back. Are there any balance changes that you'd like to see in 2042's next update? Do you think the reduced armor and repair system will be enough to balance stealth helicopters? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Microsoft is making a significant improvement to the Xbox Series S, giving developers more headroom for performance. A recent Xbox software development update freed up more system memory for developers to utilize. And while the amount is only a few hundred megabytes, every megabyte helps devs push FPS and visual quality that much further. Games that get bottlenecked by memory performance might see improvements right out the gate once this software update makes it to retail release, but it'll likely require developers to further optimize their games for players to see those big improvements. The lack of usable memory in the Series S compared to the Series X has frustrated developers. While the Series S supports 1440p 120Hz output, most games are limited to 1080p, partly because of this memory limitation. Don't expect every game to run at 1440p 120Hz in the future though. Total system memory on the Series S is limited to 10 gigabytes, and Microsoft currently reserves 2 gigabytes of that for the operating system. Even if they somehow reduce that to less than 1 gigabyte, it still only gives developers 9 gigabytes of system memory to work with. That's barely half of the Series X's 16 gigabytes total system memory. Likewise, the Series S also has a weaker GPU than the X. Rumors have been buzzing for a few weeks that Microsoft and Sony are both planning upgraded console hardware for their current gen devices, so even bigger performance gains might be in the cards for players willing to make that leap. Adware company AppLovin has offered to buy Unity software for $17.5 billion. Unity recently merged with another adware company, IronSource, for $4.4 billion. That deal drew intense scrutiny due to IronSource's history of releasing malware. The Unity game engine has been used for years by hundreds of indie and AAA devs alike to make award-winning and commercially successful titles. Unity hasn't responded to AppLovin's offer yet, but they're releasing an earnings report later today that might clarify their position. The proposal would give Unity 55% of the company's shares, but only 49% of the votes. It's tough to say what the consequences of this merger would be. It could have devastating consequences if Unity neglects their desktop and console support in favor of mobile-focused ecosystems. That would undoubtedly have catastrophic consequences for many developers. Unity recently canceled an internal development project designed to help people build better desktop and console games, which means that abandoning desktop and console support isn't entirely out of the question. Stay tuned for more info as this story unfolds. The Season 14 update for Apex Legends made some massive balance changes. The big one is self-revive has been vaulted. This was previously a perk for the gold knockdown shield, but it's been completely removed from the game. However, Respawn didn't stop with that balance change. Valkyrie's fuel consumption, acceleration speed, ultimate, and missile swarm have all been nerfed. Newcastle's shield health, movement speed, and revive abilities have been improved. Mad Maggie had all of her abilities buffed, and Crypto's ultimate ability now destroys Watson's pylons. In addition to the legend changes, Respawn have also done a significant overhaul of Kings Canyon. They brought back Skull Town and changed several key areas throughout the map. Tweaks to every gun in the game have also been made to mix up the meta. A new laser sight attachment has been added that gives better hipfire on SMGs and pistols, but those weapons have had their barrel attachment slot replaced in exchange. Overall, this is probably the most significant update to Apex that Respawn have made all year. It makes both big and small changes to almost everything in the game. If you've been waiting for something to be tweaked, now might be the time to see if your dream has come true. Hot off the heels of Valve ramping up their Steam Deck production, it's been confirmed that over 500 Steam titles have been verified for the portable console since July. Spider-Man Remastered and Multiverses were both recently certified for the Linux-based device. Over 4,500 titles are currently confirmed as compatible to some degree with the Steam Deck, but only 500 are guaranteed to be a like-for-like experience with their PC versions. Considering that many of the top games on Steam boast this tier of compatibility, it sounds like support for Valve's handheld console is going strong. Before we get to our final story today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and even become a channel member if you'd like to support us down the road. It's also a great way just to stay informed with the latest news on what's going on in gaming. The very cool Nemesis system for Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor has been recreated as a mod for Skyrim. This system essentially lets Shadow of Mordor generate new named enemies for players to fight on the fly, while also keeping track of their ranks, relationships with other NPCs, and also including revenge mechanics that mean vengeance could be had from both sides. In Shadows of Mordor, this was an innovative and wildly successful mechanic that players and critics both praised. As for why a mod replicating it in Skyrim is a big deal, well, the publisher for Middle-earth Games patented the Nemesis system. That means other developers can't use it without paying hefty licensing fees. To date, basically no other game has featured such a robust NPC generation mechanic. The Skyrim mod's creator says it doesn't infringe on that patent though. It lets any NPC in Skyrim become your nemesis. If they kill you, they'll become a named enemy, which levels them up, lets them steal your weapon, inflict debuffs on you, and more. The only way to remove these debuffs and get your weapon back is to kill them. You can have 5 nemesis enemies active at once, and they're limited to being within 25 levels of you. The only major limitation is that quest and essential characters can't become a nemesis. And of course, the world of patenting software and video game ideas is a tricky one. Even Star Citizen has a quanta system that uses similar mechanics where NPCs that survive encounters will go on to become more powerful, or it'll change their story arc, arguing that any other game's NPC generation system is infringing on the Shadow of Mordor system is going to be something that has to be settled in court. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.